So Saudi Arabia might change the sport of boxing forever. Again, Turkey Al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia are planning, this is in very early stages, they're developing a boxing league, and they want to buy a minority stake in Matchroom, Queensberry, Golden Boy, maybe Top Rank, maybe PBC, we're not sure yet of those two, but definitely Queensberry, Matchroom, and Golden Boy. Now, there have been some headlines that have been a little misleading. They're not going to own or buy out these promotions entirely, they're just buying a minority stake so they can have influence and power over what fights get made. Ultimately, Saudi wants to control all of boxing and make it like the UFC, where all the major boxers are under one league, one promotion, owned by the Saudis. Now, on paper, this sounds like an amazing thing. Boxing should be more like the UFC, where it's under one banner. Now, I know there's other MMA promotions, UFC isn't the only one. That would be a monopoly, and that's a bad thing. But the UFC is the main MMA organization. When you think MMA, you think UFC. Having all the major players under one banner with Saudi sounds great, sounds awesome. Binning these sanctioning bodies, the WBA, the WBC, the alphabet belts, binning those would be fantastic for the sport. Having one sport with one champion sounds amazing, actually. And if this goes through, this would change the sport of boxing forever. All the matchups that we want would get made. But how long would this actually last for? What's the longevity of this? When Saudi no longer wants to invest in boxing, whenever that is, what happens? What happens to this league? Would the fighters get paid fairly because they're all under one league? And because they're a part of the same league, they can pay fighters however much they want. It's the same thing in the UFC, where fighter pay is a really big issue because the UFC is the premier organization. This news sounds good for the fans, but the fighters might get fucked over as a result. We're not sure. We're not sure how the Saudis are going to operate. The reason why boxers, Tyson Fury, AJ, all of them are getting paid so well now with Saudi is because Saudi needs to pay him a lot in order to fight there. They're not going to fight in Saudi Arabia unless there's big checks on the line. Sports washing aside, I'm just not sure how this will play out. Again, it sounds great in the short term. It sounds like a great idea, but I'm just a little skeptical. First off, that this even happens, and second, I'm just not sure if boxing is good under a monopoly. Competition between promotions leads to innovation. This Turkey guy is so ambitious, and I don't know. I just don't know what it's going to happen long term when the Saudis decide, oh, we don't want to invest in boxing. Again, that's a pessimistic outlook, and this should be great news, but just hold your horses, because again, a monopoly is not a good thing. What do you guys think about the Saudi news of them trying to buy up a minority stake? Again, they're not going to own these promotions, but pretty much they're owning the promotions. Like, they'll have a say on what fights they want to make, and the promotions, because they're dumping a whole lot of money on all of them, are going thumbs up. Like, okay, whatever you want to do, Saudi Arabia, will do. What do you think about all this? Let me know, and I'll see you next time.